Hey, good morning, coaches. It's Wednesday. Wanted to apologize for jetting out of there so fast yesterday. Um, I had a 8 o'clock IFCA head coaches meeting that I needed to get to, so I uh, I was already running late. So, anyways, I wanted to just give you an update on what was said yesterday by Bob Gaddis. It wasn't an opportunity for us to really ask any questions. He just gave some information, and I'll be honest, it wasn't much information that I didn't already know or that we don't already know. Um, the biggest point of emphasis that he was trying to make was that we need to be prepared for anything uh, coming up this summer and this fall. Some of the comments that he made were they are in conjunction with every state um, to try to figure out what it's going to look like for high school football in the different states. They are not concerned with pro football or college football. They are only concerned with high school football, which may sound obvious, but um, as Bob pointed out, the IHSAA took a huge hit to its budget because of canceling the basketball um, uh, finals, the rest of the basketball tournament, and then as well as all of the spring sports. So um, he said, and I didn't catch if he said these were their words or this is their opinion of it, but the IHSA is going to do everything they can to hold a football season. But on the same time, if they hold football, they've got to hold all of the other fall sports as well uh, because of money. And we can all say that it's never about the money, but it's always about the money. And right now, the IHSA is hurting um, because of the lack of funds. So they're not filling a couple positions that they had open, some higher up positions in the IHSAA because of this. And he said it is a priority to get the football season to make it happen. They're just not sure yet what it's going to look like. So some of the things he said that we need to be planning for is what different workouts look like. He talked about maybe not being able to use the weight room, or depending on the square footage of your weight room, maybe only so many kids per 1,000 square feet or something of that nature. So um, maybe we have to run 3 different workouts to get all of our kids through the weight room or through a workout. He talked about cleaning and who's going to do all of the cleaning, you know. Um, and quite frankly, that's something that I think we've taken for granted. He made comments about, cleaning all of the equipment, you use on the field after the workouts, who's going to clean and disinfect the weight room after somebody goes in there, the locker room. He said a lot of people just assume that the custodians are going to do it, but are they? Um, his point to all of it was we're going to get one shot at bringing football back, and he said, nobody's talking about concussions anymore. They're talking about how we're going to bring back football with all the new normal. And um, he said we got to get it right. We can't screw it up. We can't have coaches taking advantage of situations um, and not doing what the guidelines that are going to be set. Um, not following through with all those. So I guess what I'm telling you is what we would have considered normal may not be normal anymore. We may be asked to do more than we signed up for in terms of just being allowed to work out with our kids. So nothing is set in stone, and that's really all I know. That's all he talked about. He did say that maybe there's testing that we have to do before somebody can work out. Taking temperature or things like that. Um, it's unknown right now. But those are all the things that they are discussing to try to figure out if we can make football go this summer and this fall. Okay, so he said basically we just got to be patient and wait and see. And he said regardless of what happens, he goes, football will survive at some point. But he said the biggest thing we need to do, and I agree, is we got to get these kids back in school. We all love football and the kids love football, but more importantly than football is education, and we've got to got to figure out a way to get these kids back in school and get them back to more normal learning environment than what they've had the last couple months. He talked about um, social distancing. They confirmed that we should not be doing anything with our kids at all. Any coach led stuff, in person workouts or anything like that. So that was confirmed. Um, he talked about now I'm drawing a blank. Um, Trying to get creative with how we're going to run workouts in June, and maybe even July. Who knows? But in June, especially because we know for sure we can't do anything in June with our kids in person. So, how are you going to start teaching drills and techniques in June? He said that they've been in discussion with some other states. There are guys that are putting drills, on YouTube, putting drills on social media, teaching their technique. I think that's a discussion that we need to have as a staff. By position, what can you teach virtually for the kids? And here's something that it just dawned on me actually this morning. Every one of our players has a laptop right now, but in 2 weeks they're not going to. And so, how many kids are going to have the technology to even get on a Zoom chat, to be able to watch something or anything like that? A lot of them have phones. Not all of them have phones. Not all of them have smartphones. So these are just challenges that are going to come up. And that's not to say that we don't do something because everybody doesn't have the technology. But I think it's a conversation that we all need to have. And you as a position coach need to start thinking, okay, what are the basics that I could get taught, by maybe you demonstrating or, a couple of us, walking through things and somebody filming it, on paper, pictures of it. I don't know, but we need to start thinking about the position that you coach. How can we start teaching some of these techniques that would have been taught in June that kids can work on at home? Now, obviously, it's not going to be perfect, but it's another step in the right direction that I think we're going to have to take. The other thing is we need to start thinking about conditioning. How do we want to implement that? The return to play with our trainers. That is one thing that the IFCA is concerned with, is getting these kids ramped back up, but doing it right and slowly. So I think that's another discussion point is what's going to be our plan of attack to ramp things back up, and starting in June. Once school's out. So that was pretty much it. Again, I apologize for getting out of there. I thought our meeting might be done a little earlier, and I know it's shocking, but I talked a little longer than I anticipated, and didn't get a chance to get feedback from you guys. So if there's any feedback, shoot me an email before tomorrow, and we'll go from there. All right. Thanks, and we'll talk to you soon.